Have asked, will they be able to keep the interest? The Rock supposedly is taking on John Cena at WrestleMania 28. Now, this main event, so-called announced at the end of Raw. I'm kind of fingers crossed. I hope to see this match, but there's a long, long way to go in terms of keeping interest and also keeping that program going. It's not that I don't think you're going to see those two in there, but I feel like someone is going to be added at some point.
I think the strangest thing about this, although it looks good on paper, as two guys who you thought, like a Hogan Rock, would never go one-on-one, and now that they have confirmed it, even though it is a year from now, it's a lot of pressure, especially with two guys who really aren't the greatest wrestlers on the planet. I mean, we've done this for, a year and a bit, and can analyse everything that we try to analyse, and we know Cena is no 5-star grappler, let's put it that way. But then again, I wonder if The Rock was on steady competition these days, and if we were to analyse as we do, what we would say. And my guess would be, I'd say he's pretty terrible actually in the ring for the most part. I mean, it is a kind of a 5-move spot, and nothing really else. Power moves, he's a kind of a power moves guy. And when you've got two power moves guys headlining the biggest show of the year with a year of a build, I mean, that's some serious pressure no matter what way you look at it. And my guess is it'll probably be interesting but will suck.
Yes, so long to go, and what are they going to do week on week? I don't expect to see Rock on there maybe every week, but they're going to have him on maybe once every month or two. They
Via
need
satellite.
Via satellite. Maybe he's going to tape the whole year's vignettes in advance, like that last angle. He certainly could do that, and we wouldn't know the difference. So maybe bar one or two appearances, perhaps before SummerSlam and maybe before Survivor Series, going on then till next year's Royal Rumble. Maybe it's only going to be 3 live appearances plus a match. They might have already got this signed. They might know exactly what they're going to do.
Now fucking The Rock and Cena, WrestleMania 28. I don't know how the hell they're going to do a year of
This is it, yeah.
of building up. If they think they can do it, I don't know. A lot of people I've been talking to, they think it's April 1st, so it's an April Fool's joke, and they're probably just going to do it early at SummerSlam or something. So I can agree with what the people I've been talking to have been saying.
I think it's a terrible idea. I mean, Rock isn't going to be around for this whole year, so maybe Rock comes in every other pay-per-view, screws a bit with Cena, then goes back and comes in. That's the only way people are going to keep interested. By WrestleMania 28, if Rock isn't around, everyone's going to forget that Cena's actually facing The Rock. It's going to be an outshadow. Rock needs to do more than just be around almost. He needs to screw with Cena near every chance that he gets. Like with the WWE title, I say Miz and Cena go at it. Rock screws Cena again, gets Cena mad, and the fans will know that that's going to happen at WrestleMania. It's not just going to be like,
But it was a surprise, and I think many people reacted, favourably to this, because I think a lot of people are saying it's a kind of a gutsy move to actually say, now this is our main event, we're going to stick with this, and you're going to have to live with it. But initially, when I saw that Rock kind of moving into the Cena Miz angle, I was hoping for the singles match. I thought it was going to be Rock v Cena. So they are giving me what I want, I have to say that.
Yeah, I don't know how. Well, we'll soon find out. But if they plan to script a full year's program with this, just say, and which is more than likely the case, Rock isn't going to be around for the best part for the next year. He might turn up, maybe start of March 2012 to get this deal on the road. But until then, what do they do? Not acknowledge that it's happening, or do they refer to it? Do they keep it in Cena's kind of script storyline? Will he refer to The Rock? I gotta take it handy because I got my big match with The Rock, etc. I know he won't say that, but he'll definitely have to keep himself in tip-top shape and avoid any injuries for the next year. But it'll be interesting to see how they script it, if it is referenced or if it's just brushed to a side until we get to The the road to WrestleMania 2012?
So I would hope to maybe see one of those guys go heel. Now Cena is unlikely to go heel, but The Rock is kind of bordering on heel a little bit. He's attacking Cena, but maybe more to get that kind of older demographic pop than actually to shoot. Now they are tried and tested baby faces, so again that's something that probably won't happen. But, you know, put him full out evil. The Rock is not a full-time guy. You could easily do this, make him evil, have him do a lot of, you know, heelish type stuff, send him away, and when he comes back he can be babyface all over once again. So that's what I'd like to see to kind of make this exciting. I would like to see heel versus babyface. Of course, with that dynamic then of Cena getting those boos as well, it would be very, very big. But we could almost do WrestleMania 28 predictions. Now, I know there's a hell of a lot of build to go, but I think maybe before the night's out we could probably even talk about other matches.
Flag the video. Flag the video.
Absolutely. So Rock and Cena, what are your thoughts on that one? Are you looking forward to it? Do you think it's a wise idea to be 12 months out, more or less, and to, book this now? As you say, the injury point is very important as well. Can these guys stay uninjured? Now, Cena, he can easily put a spanner in that works because he often tears those quads.
He does tear those quads. I think he'll, as always, probably just do what he does, and sometimes he can avoid those kind of injuries as he knows all too well. I just think with The Rock, Cena has his work cut out no matter what way you look at it with that situation. Rock went over with Hogan at that Mania. He did him a favour. Now I think Rock would probably do Cena a favour. It doesn't make any sense for The Rock to go over. So if we're going on predictions, I'm going to say Cena's going to take this one. I won't give it an out of 5 because I haven't seen it yet, but I'll say just in a year in advance, I'm going to give it 3.4 out of 5.
You know what I'm worried about? Because it just reminded me of us talking about Miz versus Cena, and my confidence. I can personally remember talking about Cena and being like, he's going to win, this is it. And of course they pulled that Miz-Cena finish where actually Cena did win and then reversed whatever it was. It's out of my mind. I just know it was a ridiculous finish there at the end of Miz v Cena. So is it going to be another case of that where both guys actually win? I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, because The Rock doesn't want to come out maybe a little bit weaker. He doesn't want to lose on a big show pay-per-view. I don't know, but that certainly seems like a match where there could be a draw.
We've seen one draw-ish at a Mania, I suppose. Who knows? Who knows how it's going to pan out? It's just going to be funny either way, I think.
Quote us, 12 months, enough time for The Rock to squeeze in 2 movies. And of course his schedule is going to be a big part of that as well. Welcome back to Stinger Splash in the chat, who is back with us. And
Wrestling Breakdown.
Yeah, a wrestling breakdown. It happens. We were close to it last week.
We were very close to it, yeah.
Stinger saying that it's a very gutsy move to book this a year in advance, and he's still up in the air about this one so far. Tough Enough, the debut episode of Tough Enough, aired this past Monday, straight after Raw, and I have to say, first and foremost, they've stolen our dream, as they did indeed put a wrestling ring in a studio, and it's the best damn wrestling ring in a studio setup I've ever seen.
It's very nice. It's very, very, very nice.
That would be the ultimate dream, is to have a ring, a studio, sit in the ring, do Wrestledope, maybe do some interviews. WWE were going to do it first, and absolutely they've done it the best. Now initially when I saw the studio, I want to be straight on that one first because I thought it was excellent. You have this kind of this runway that Stone Cold drives in on the motorbike. Right, yeah. Now when I initially saw this, I actually thought it was an optical illusion. It just was kind of sitting behind the contestants, and when he actually drove then through it, that's real. It looked like some form of 3D poster. I don't know. I was tricked when I was looking at this, but I suppose to kind of have that visually there was amazing, and it kind of lifts it out of the kind of reality thing as well. Keeps us wrestling fans into it.
It was a good show. I think it'll be interesting to see if it's any good going forward. Wasn't the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life, but it was good. I did enjoy it. I do wonder though how much, or if any, is a bit worked. I have to say, after the full hour, I was like, second guessing the whole thing a little bit.
It does seem to be a work in many ways.
Parts definitely.
Yeah, I mean, there are guys that are in there that they've done some time elsewhere. Are these guys, have they been kept from FCW? I think Miss USA might have been on there.
Not sure.
I don't know. They may very well have kept these guys dark. There are one or two familiar names though, and I know people have been talking about them on dirt sheet websites, and they kind of know where they came from. I suppose to start off, initially I noticed Ariane, the African American girl who of course got eliminated first. Now there was a huge discussion this week about what she said was her favourite match. Now give her some slack. The girl is probably only in her 20s and she liked Melina versus Alicia Fox. I mean, what's the big deal here?
Yeah, I suppose she needed a reference point. That's I mean, yeah, she's new to the business. This business we're in. But it was funny. I mean, it was funny. I have to say, I did laugh out loud at that one.
Yeah, I just think I think it was unfair because she obviously spent some time watching. Now, as far as I remember, Melina Alicia Fox, it didn't go to pay-per-view.
It's just
as far as I know, it was just a Raw or something like that. I know I was getting confused because I was trying to think when exactly that was and when she was watching. Now, to be honest, I think it might have been on Raw with Melina's recent return, which means it was only about 3 months ago or whatever.
That's nuts.
So she might have just switched on the TV and that was the first Divas match she saw. But look, I mean, she actually mentioned it and
she remembered their names. At least
she remembered their names.
That's probably a good start.
And of course, not to dwell on it, but of course that's the one she'd mentioned because that's where she wants to be. That's where she
wants
sees
to be a diva.
herself.
She wants to be.
I have to stick up for her on that.
But again, I'm sure so those Bellas, I wouldn't say they were too up on their wrestling knowledge either, to be honest.
I have to give it to Ariane, however you pronounce that, for her attitude. And she said at the end of it that she was going to be seen again on WWE TV, and I actually believe her. And I think maybe someone behind the scenes is going to give her a little shot. I mean, throw her on SmackDown. I know there's people like AJ Lee, desperate to get spots at this point, but I suppose the best survive, really. I mean, that attitude could work well in Lake Hoo, maybe a third member there. I'm going heavy on the Ariane, but she stood out to me more than anyone, and I think they made that so because they knew she was out straight away.
Yeah, they probably saw this as potential from the get-go with that one. She's a fiery girl. That other girl is pretty fiery as well, this Miss USA.
That's right.
But again, I mean, when the cameras are rolling.
That's right, they turn it on, and you mentioned the work side of things. US reality shows are often heavily worked. Not to say they're not on this side of the world, but you can have moments taken out of context. The timeline can be switched around. Something happened here that actually happened before what came next, and things like that. So it's hard to trust at times, but I suppose in this case, it is wrestling. And I suppose, as much as I look at it and see something like a Real World, maybe a Big Brother, they do keep it coming back to wrestling. Now, I'm interested to see what happens because we get really interesting glimpses at the backstage side of things, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do week on week.
Opinion.
Did you get a chance to see Tough Enough, Mike?
Yeah, I saw Tough Enough.
Your thoughts on that one?
Can't really expect much from the freaking first week. I mean, first impressions, obviously. You try and look at the whole thing, though. The whole thing is it was great when it was Tough Enough back then. I remember Al Snow, and I don't remember anyone else as the trainers. I just remember Al Snow. And back then, obviously, it was good. I don't know. I forgot how long that show was running too.
Thinking about other things that went on, it's better than NXT, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, once again, it's got less and less wrestling. But it has a wrestling ring in a studio, and that much alone will keep me tuning in every single week because, you felt like there was Big Brother elements to it as well. You had the kind of arguments and stuff, which, I don't really remember too much about the other Tough Enoughs, but to me anyway, it all seemed fresh.
Yeah, I like it. Will I continue to like it? That's the question. I was very into NXT when it started, and then slowly lost interest. But I think this is a bit more real, I suppose, reality in a sense, isn't it? I mean, NXT's worked to absolute bits.
That's exactly it. So I hope there's no more discussion about whatever matches some of those contestants mention. But I suppose the Raw segment as well, with all those Tough Enough guys, was quite interesting. Now, of course, the other thing is Tough Enough. Now, I would be interested to know what you thought of that, because yes, I suppose it is reality TV, but is there enough of a wrestling element in there to keep you watching?
No, you got Stone Cold Steve Austin yelling at a bunch of punks. What could be more funnier, man?
Yeah.
So that made it for me right there and then. And then, we're going to see a lot more of that. I mean, these kids are probably going to go through some hell. I don't know how much of it, like you said, is real or work. And it's a reality show, so you got to assume that about 50% of it is some sort of work anyway. But it's fucking funny to see.
This thing's a bit of a work, or else, But what was the question again?
Well, I suppose worked moments is where you bring us, and I have to say, going back there, you mentioned about NXT being a giant work. That's what I'm going to look for now in Tough Enough, the worked spots, and looking at Miss USA with that padding, she ran the ropes.
I forgot about that.
Bill DeMott probably copped that one, but maybe you let it go for the TV. I suppose we'll ask you about Tough Enough. Did you catch that this week?
Without a doubt, I did.
Did you enjoy it?
Without a doubt.
Yeah, it's got something special. It's reality. It's good. Of course, Stone Cold as well, a big draw for that, and that's I think going to keep people watching. Would you think?
That's one. Another, you have a lot of indie talent, a lot of unknowns. Yeah, something for everyone there.
Alex Riley says Santino to end the streak, and Captain Charisma Rodney to end the streak. Stinger Splash, the finale is supposed to be live, right? So some people have been eliminated then, I presume, and there's some to be picked as winner.
Maybe we're down to 2.
That's good.
3.
That's good. Thanks for letting us know that. They could do it on Raw, couldn't they? They could do it before Raw, after Raw, during it.
Well, I suppose it would all tie into that bracket, the 8, 9, 10, whatever time it's on in the States.
If maybe 3 have survived, I'm going to say 3 have survived for that final.
That's what I was going to say a while ago. But
yeah.
Let's pick some heads.
I think I'm going to go with Miss USA for the publicity. I think they're going to throw her in there. I'm going to say that blonde, long hair guy.
Yeah, I was going to say
I'd
that
stick
too.
him in because I love seeing these people live their dreams. And he was literally red in the face, not embarrassed, but looking at Stone Cold. Like, we've seen so many people like Alex Riley and people like that make it into the ring with these big legends, and it is a nice moment. You can respect how they're feeling, but I'd throw that guy in, and I don't think that Eric guy made it.
I don't think he will make it either. He seems to be a bit on the kind of buffoon side of life. But yeah, I would definitely pick the kind of wrestler guy, the young Mickey Rourke guy. And then there was this other guy who was whipping off the ropes like there was no the Flash guy.
Yeah,
I picked that guy big time.
Those guys could certainly be future stars. I think, like the Diva Search, people may be dropped out of this and then they'll still appear on TV. They did that with Diva Search contestants many a time. People like Lena Yada, who maybe only lasted a little bit, but she didn't win. She went out fairly early, and then you had her returning to TV. So
Josh Matthews was another one.
Josh Matthews, you'd forget, you really would.
It was a good few. I think Jomo was one of them, wasn't he?
Oh, there you go.
There's a whole bunch.
I'd forget. Yeah, going back there. Yeah, you're right. Of course, I think somebody, probably like John Morrison, he took a while to get away from that stigma, but now you wouldn't even remember. So they can get away from it and they can make a full career. And who knows, that long hair blonde guy, he might be the next
Walsham.
Michaels. Anyone, Skid marks, yeah, they were also calling them gimmick names.
That was funny.
I presume that was to kind of say, well, look, you could be called anything in this business.
That's probably true, yeah.
And, you know, get used to it, and this could be your name, so...
That's how he remembers names, fair play to him.
Yeah, build
I
them
can't
out.
remember any of the guys' names, so...
Alex Riley, these shows mean nothing. Quodos is that M-Dog Matt Cross. Now tell me more about that Matt guy, because he's definitely known. I know that guy, I've seen him mentioned before, and maybe you could tell us a bit more about him. I certainly don't know offhand. Ju-On Tough Enough is the best WWE show, and Stinger Splash mentioning some of those Tough Enough guys who've sort of been there and made it on, such as Jomo, Miz and Matthews. Again, Miz, I completely forgot that Miz was a Tough Enough guy.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Yeah, there it's just, you would forget. M-Dog 420, Matt Cross says Lil Jabba, and Kodo says that he has some sick moves on the indie circuit. So I think this is like a kind of a Daniel Bryan of this particular show. I suppose he could be the third guy, really, couldn't he?
Yeah, I wonder what where he's kind of based or what he's done.
Yeah.
A few of them are workers. Isn't that other girl the kind of stocky one who
That's right.
was in that kind of lineup with
Yeah.
the black girl?
There is another one in there, and again, she said she was a pro, or at least worked for 11 years. Now, all the shoot interviews, a lot of these ex-workers, when they're told that, often you hear quoted on these DVDs that basically somebody says to them, I've worked 11 years, they'll turn around and say, how many matches? Because, you know, you could work 11 years and have 6 matches.
That's a very good point.
And I think that might be the case. Although she does look tall. She looks like she probably, you know, can work. And certainly I think when she was kind of given out to the eliminated contestant, you saw something, I think.
Well, a couple of weeks ago they released some press release with a kind of background 3 or 4 line paragraph on each of the contestants, and definitely of those female contestants, one of them at least had a good run somewhere on the indie kind of deal, and I was trying to work out which one it was, because that one who said, you know, I'll make it back on WWE TV, I don't think it was her for sure. So my guess, after looking at the rest of them, was that it probably was the one who said it was the 11-year deal. I wouldn't say 11 years, maybe 11 months, but at least, you know, she's done some stuff.
So overall, Tough Enough is an entertaining show. I'm kind of glad to have some reality. I was a fan of Big Brother, and well, that's coming back, but not for a while. So it is nice to have something like that for the summer, and I'm looking forward to seeing each week as it goes by, and it generally is worth, I think, tuning into. If you haven't bothered to do that yet, then I would say have a look. It's definitely worth it. Tough Enough is going to be, I think, fun for the next few weeks that's in it.